Hello, today we're going to talk about second degree functions solutions. When you talk about second degree functions, you're talking about quadratics. Alright, because the degree of the polynomial of a quadratic is 2, or second degree. So this is your second degree function that we're talking about in this case. The quadratics graph is a parabola. It's a frowny face or a happy face, depending on the leading coefficient. And when you talk about factoring, all right. So whenever you think about quadratics, the first thing that comes to my head is factoring. So we're gonna factor some stuff. To be able to factor, you have to have it in the standard form. Alright, so I have to equal it to 0 basically. So I just move the 50 over. And now it equals to 0. Now there's ways to do this. I'm just going to do it the way I like to do it. So, and I really don't know what the answer to this is. So we will do it together. Alright, so here we go. So now I have to match them up to break it down. There are easier ways to do this. Probably with this one, you can complete the square, it would be pretty easy. I have a negative in the back, so one's going to be positive, the other one's going to be negative. Let's see, so 1 and 6. So how you're supposed to do this is 1 and 6. I know it's not going to be 1 and 50, because that just doesn't make any number sense. It's not going to be 2 and 25, because that doesn't make number sense either. It's going to be the 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 and 5 and 10. That gives me 20, that gives me 15, subtract them to get 5. Now my bigger number has to be negative because the middle's negative. So my 20 has to be negative. So make that 10, make that 2, make that 3, oops. Make that 3, make that 5. That gives me 6x squared minus 50, 15x minus 20, gives us our answer. So there you go. There is other ways to do it. You can complete the square if you want. You could do the quadratic formula, but we're about to do that in a second. So this is finding the zeros, or finding the roots, or finding the x-intercepts, whatever you'd like to call it. So those are our two answers, is negative 5/2 and 10/3. And there you go. That's how you factor that one. Should have probably picked an easier one, didn't. That's the answer. So what it means by solutions is it means, well, it might just mean that. I really don't remember. But these are the two binomials it's factored down to. These are the zeros, the roots, or the x-intercepts, whatever you want to call it. Here's a special one, because it's a special case. Because the middle number is gone. When the middle number is gone, that means I have a positive and a negative, and they're going to be the same exact equations. How do I know it was those numbers? Because when you have a special case, all you have, and you're missing the b, that means the b was 0. To get rid of that, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, but they have to be the same exact things. And I always have two perfect square roots. So I just square root 9, give me 3 and 3, square root 16, give me 4 and 4. And x equals, for the sake of time, so the answers or the roots are negative 4/3 and 4/3. All right. Quadratic formula time. Here's the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Here's our standard form where we get our a, b, and c. So our a here is 4, Our b here is -2, but this is not in standard form, so I have to subtract a 7 over. So our c is -7. Always have to equal to 0 before you factor it. This is just another way of factoring it. If you want to do complete square or something like that, there's a whole video over how to do it. So I plug everything in. Since this is -b, this means change the sign of whatever your b is. Make it 2 plus and minus the square root. B squared is -2 squared minus 4 times 4 times -7. So 28 times 4, 36, 32, 3, 8, 112. That's -28 times. So I get positive 112, that gives me 4. So 116 square root of 2 plus and minus 8. All right, this is going to be a fun problem to finish because then we have to simplify it. I'm just checking my work real quick. I don't go through this whole thing if it's wrong because I have no idea what the answer is. So 116 is not a perfect square root, so I can break it down. 2 and 58, 2 and 29. Oh, so I can only take 4 out of it. 2 times 29. Pair, so 2 squared root of 29. So 2 plus and minus 2 square root of 29 over 8. Simplify it down to 1 plus and minus the square root of 29 over 8. All right, quick correction on that last one. I did bring that down by 4. So that's your final answer. So those are your zeros. This is how you use the quadratic formula. All right, this has been second degree function solutions. Hope it helped. Good luck.